Is it time to hit the panic button regarding Eury Perez? We're going to discuss it all on today's live Locked On Marlins.
You are Locked On Marlins, your daily podcast on the Miami Marlins. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Welcome into Locked On Marlins. I'm your host, Jeremiah Geiger. I'm a diehard Marlins fan, and I've podcasted about the team for the last 4 seasons. You can find me on X at Jeremiah Geiger too, and thank you for making Locked On Marlins your first listen of the day. It's part of the Locked On Podcast Network, which is your team every single day. Hit subscribe on the YouTube channel, leave a like, and leave a comment. And today's episode is brought to you by 5 Hour Energy. Enter for a chance to win a dream golf trip for 2 to any golf tournament in the USA. Visit 5hewin.com for full rules and entry. No purchase necessary. Excludes the Masters tournament. Ends October 31st, 2025. And on today's show, we're going to break down Eury Perez. Are we concerned with Eury? What is the level of concern regarding one of the best young pitchers in baseball, but he's hit a roadblock? He's been struggling back-to-back games, just getting blown up. First against the Mets, now against the Nationals. What's going on there? We're going to break down some roster moves. The Marlins and the transaction counter are very busy right now. A lot to break down. Guys hitting the injured list. We're going to streamline it all for you. Explain how all the pieces fit together. As we are now entering football season, the Marlins still have a few weeks left to play in their season. Janson Junk and Ryan Weathers are returning, and I'm very excited for that. We're going to spend some time discussing those two pitchers, but let's start with the headliner. Eury Perez continues to struggle. 2 games now in a row in which a National League East opponent just dominated him. They jumped all over him from the very beginning. Of course, the start in Citi Field, he just lasts 2/3 of an inning. 5 earned runs, and then with an opportunity to bounce back in the nation's capital, in Washington, D.C., against a bad Nationals team, a Nationals team that shouldn't strike fear in the hearts of any pitcher, much less a pitcher with the talent that Eury has. He goes 4 innings, 8 hits, 7 earned runs. He gave up 2 homers and just struck out 2. Just uncharacteristic struggles for Eury. And I want to kind of just think about this for a second, because did we put too much expectations on Eury coming off of Tommy John surgery? Tommy John surgery, everybody reacts differently to it. I mean, we saw that with Sandy all season long. Sandy was inconsistent to start the year. You knew that the talent was still in there. The velocity was still there, but certain aspects of his game, it took a while to refine, to get back to his strengths. And so Eury, of course, started off slow. He had that start in Pittsburgh, struggled with command. Same thing against these Nationals, struggled with command. And then he hit his groove. In the month of July, he was great. We go into August, and that's just where things started taking a downhill turn. The month of August, he had an ERA of 5.60. He's given up multiple runs in every single start in the month of August, apart from that Yankees game. And that was August 2nd. So hitters got onto him, and he didn't have a good month. Is that indicative of his talent as a pitcher? Do I think Eury's overrated? No. Eury's not overrated, but expectations do have to be tempered for anybody coming off of Tommy John surgery. He's had a handful of rough starts, but now look, he's got an opportunity to finish strong. I am wondering that Eury is just gassed, that he's running out of gas at the end of the season. He's pitched 75 1/3. We all know what happened in 2023 when the Marlins shut him down in the middle of a postseason run. because they wanted to keep his arm healthy. Of course, he went on to get Tommy John surgery that offseason and miss all of 2024. So he doesn't have a lot of innings under his belt. With Eury, you have to be cautious. Of course, everybody, you don't want to risk an injury. So if you're feeling that throwing him out there every fifth day, he's gonna get hurt. He's at risk of just overexertion at this point. Then that's a conversation you have to have internally as an organization, because it looks to me, just the eye test, that Eury's tired. And when you're tired, your control, your mechanics, everything goes out the window, and you're going to see outings like these. Going back to his start against the Nationals, it's a pretty easy breakdown for you guys. Threw the four-seam fastball 50% of the time. Was it effective? No. It's 20 swings, and he got 2 whiffs. So the Nationals were just hitting the ball, and they're hitting it hard. When you only have that one pitch you can rely on, you mix in the slider at 17 pitches out of 76, and then the changeup and curveball and sweeper, you throw a handful, but nothing. Your bread and butter is that four-seam fastball. When hitters are on it, you're going to struggle, and that's the next step in Eury's development phase. I will phrase it like that. Is, can I get batters out using my full arsenal? When my fastball is on, yeah, I have the capability to go out and dominate an entire lineup with that pitch alone. But when it's not, then I'm going to get into trouble because I can't rely upon these other pitches. They're inconsistent. I don't have the command. I don't have the feel for them. And so I go back to the fastball, and then the hitters are teeing off. So that's a big, big piece for Eury Perez. And if he wants to reach that next level of stardom, because I do believe Eury is a star, he's still young. There's still room to grow. And that's the great thing about baseball, is that who you are as a pitcher right now is not going to be the same pitcher next season. You don't have to stay static. It's growth, it's development, and you can add things, you can subtract things. It's a complete art, and the Marlins do it very well. The organization develops their pitchers very, very well. So to conclude this segment, I want to see Eury develop his off-speed offerings to be more of a consistent option than just the fastball. Pretty simple. Once he can do that, I think you're going to see more consistency. And this month of August is just going to be a blip on the radar. He might be running out of gas. So let's see. We got, 4 weeks left in the season. It's a handful of starts. I'm curious as to see how the Marlins handle his workload, because he's tired. He's young. He's your prize jewel, top prospect, coming off of Tommy John surgery. You got to take care of him, especially in a season. And now you're 10 games under 500. There's no incentive to keep throwing him out there if you feel like he's running out of gas. And that's just an off-season conditioning program, strength training, and all of the above. Coming up next, we're going to break down some more roster moves that the Marlins made. They were busy today. Lots of call-ups, lots of IL stints incoming, and we're going to break it all down. So stay right here on the show. This episode is brought to you by Zippix toothpicks. Whether you're looking for nicotine satisfaction or an energy boost, Zippix has you covered with their nicotine and caffeine-infused toothpicks. For nicotine users, Zippix provides a discreet way to satisfy cravings and the hand-to-mouth habit without vaping or smoking. Zippix can be a helpful tool as you work to reduce your dependence on vaping. It's available in 6 great flavors with 2 milligram and 3 milligram nicotine options. If you need energy without the crash, they also got caffeine toothpicks, and that's an absolute game changer. So go to ZippixToothpicks.com. Use code LOCKEDON for 10% off your first order. Must be 21 or older to order. Warning, nicotine is an addictive chemical. That's ZippixToothpicks.com. Promo code LOCKEDON. Zip more, smoke less with Zippix Toothpicks. I appreciate you guys who make listening to Locked On Marlins part of your daily routine. I can't do this without you guys. Over 2,000 subscribers on the YouTube channel. So as this is a live edition, if you're watching this or if you're watching on replay, do me a favor, hit that like, make sure you're subscribed. It helps out the channel and the goals we're trying to accomplish. Some more roster moves to break down. Where do we start? So I'm just looking here. I have 6 transactions that the Marlins announced this afternoon. I want to start with the first one. I'll just go in order of the team's social media platform and the graphic they put out. We're just going to go down the list, and I'm going to give you my thoughts on what the Marlins are doing here. Real quick, if you're on the YouTube channel, I see I have some live viewers in here. Leave a comment. Let me know what you think. Go to live chat, and I'll throw your comment up on the screen, and we can discuss. Opinions. We love opinions. Difference of opinions is what makes the world just go. And it creates baseball talk shows, baseball podcasts. We love it here on this channel. The Marlins' first move I have to talk about, Josh Simpson, recalled from AAA Jacksonville. Got to tell you, I don't know why. I get it. He's a lefty. The Marlins and Clayton McCullough have some sort of agenda that they're trying to push with Josh Simpson, and it's clearly not working. And I was glad when he was finally optioned. It was time, but he gets called right back up. You have Josh White in AAA having a dominant season out of the pen, strikeout machine, and he's not getting an opportunity. Instead, you're going to see Josh Simpson get an opportunity for the third time? So that doesn't really make sense. You know what you have in Simpson. Give Josh White a chance at the big league level. Gloria in the chat. Thank you, Gloria, for tuning in. I'm liking what I'm seeing from Norby these first few days back from the IL. He's been playing really well. Unfortunately, and this is a perfect transition into the next player, Connor Norby is on the injured list again, placed on the 10-day IL, retro back to September 4th, so yesterday, with a left quad strain. So Connor Norby's frustrating season continues. He can't fend off the injury bug. And just when you think Norby's getting hot, just like Gloria said, Connor Norby, first few games back, he has a rehab assignment. He's playing well at the big league level. And then boom, right back on the injured list. Derek Hill is also on the injured list again. Feels like Derek Hill, he just kind of lives on the injured list. At least this season, it feels like a right hamstring strain. So that hammy's not working out for Derek Hill this season. And I'm just not convinced Derek Hill is working out for the Marlins this season. It's a little bit confusing to me as to why he still maintains a roster spot, given the depth that this team has in the outfield. Now, of course, you have Dane Myers, who's injured and who is ineffective for a long period of time. But I'm just out on the Derek Hill experiment. Like you got him last year from, I believe it was the Giants organization or the Rangers organization. One of those two teams, because I do remember he played for Texas before he joined the Marlins. And he was okay. He's speedy. He's a really good defensive outfielder, but he always gets hurt and he can't hit. He literally cannot hit worth a lick. So I just, Derek Hill occupying a roster spot in general doesn't excite me. Infielder Max Acosta is recalled from AAA Jacksonville. So, of course, that makes more sense. Acosta going back down when Norby returned. When Norby's injured, well, Acosta has a spot now again, and he's somebody that can back up. He can, he can start with Javier Sanoja getting some reps too. Jack Winkler is also called up from AAA again. Jack, he can say he's a major leaguer, and you're never gonna hate that if you're Jack Winkler, but it's just filling a spot for the remainder of the season. Sometimes that's all these moves are, is depth. Winkler's not somebody who's going to be part of the Marlins core. Just like Simpson isn't, although they're desperately trying everything they can do to make that happen. But you'll see this all the time in baseball. We saw it a few days ago. Brian Navarreto got called up to the Marlins as a catcher. I think he's still on the team. I don't think I saw any other transactions that said he wasn't. I don't know if he's played though. Has Brian Navarreto played since he got called up? Let's see here. 40-man roster. It'd have to be on the 40-man. Yeah. Brian Navarreto. This season has been a fun season. They're back to 3 catchers, which make sense. I thought it was going to be 2 the rest of the way. Last move we got to talk about. Luarber Arias has been DFA'd. Arias is he's not a major league reliever. Again, a guy that's going to come up and try to eat you some innings, try to be a warm body out of the bullpen. But in terms of effectiveness, I don't think you would confuse Luarber Arias with somebody who's a theoretical fixture in this bullpen and that you have hope for going beyond 2025 into 2026. I think of Nigel Belgrave, Josh White, Josh Eknis. You have those guys right there. Dale Stanovich, another lefty in the minors, who's a strikeout machine from the left-handed side. I think Arias being DFA'd, if anyone claims him, hopefully he gets an opportunity with somebody else. I doubt anybody claims Arias, and then they'll just outright him to AAA. But coming back from the minor leagues because of their rehab assignments will be 2 pitchers who I'm excited to watch the rest of the way. Janson Junk and Ryan Weathers are returning, and we're going to talk about that more right after this. This episode is brought to you by 5-Hour Energy Transfusion. This grape, ginger, lime flavored shot brings the iconic taste of a golf course favorite to a non-alcoholic boost. It's perfect for sinking birdies or making great memories with friends. It's the hole-in-one for your energy game. Whether you're out on the course or you just need a little extra push to get through your day, 5-Hour Energy Transfusion delivers the clubhouse flavor you love without ever leaving the green. I'm not much of a golfer, but my brother's in town, and I think we might hit up Top Golf. And he can laugh and see how bad I am. And who knows, maybe I get lucky a little bit. So if you like golfing, if you like just being energized, you can amp up the fun even more. Just buy, snap, and enter for a chance to win a dream golf trip for 2 to any golf tournament in the USA. Tee up that trip. Visit 5hewin.com for full rules and entry. No purchase necessary. Excludes the Masters tournament. Ends October 31st, 2025. This is a live edition of Locked On Marlins. If you're watching live, appreciate you being here. If you're watching the replay, appreciate you being here as well. Hit that like button. And for those who are listening to the show, remember, Locked On Marlins is wherever you get your podcast platforms. Spotify, Apple, Amazon Music, you name it. Locked On Marlins is out there. Janson Junk and Ryan Weathers are hopefully returning this next week. The Marlins, of course, have a series they got to start against the mighty Philadelphia Phillies. So back-to-back division opponents for the Marlins. as we're wrapping up the season. But I'm excited, for Janson and for Ryan to get back in the rotation. I think it's important. You would have the Nationals for 4 games next week and then the Tigers for 3. So Junk theoretically would pitch earlier in the week, whereas Weathers probably a little bit later. RWB in the chat. Beozo starting tonight. Is it a bullpen game for the Fish? How's it going, RWB? Valente Beozo is starting for the Marlins, and that's kind of what takes me into the return of Janson Junk, is because the next spot or the next go in the rotation, you're not going to have Beozo. Beozo's just making a spot start because you have the return of Weathers, the return of Junk, and I'm pretty sure it would be, who would it be? It would be Junk, right? It would have to be Junk who takes the spot of Valente Beozo. But I like Beozo. I think Beozo's a pitcher that is crafty and gets it done by any means necessary. Appreciate the comment, RWB. And I really don't like bullpen games. I really don't. I think bullpen games with the Marlins situation are really, really hard to do. You just don't have the talent who can get you a full 9 innings and be competitive. It's just not there. I talk about Clayton McCullough and the bullpen decisions. Well, when you have a bullpen game, what can you do? Unless Lake Bocker's throwing 3 innings, you're throwing Tyler Phillips for 3 innings. If you go 1 inning apiece, maybe 2 innings, you're still going to throw guys like Josh Simpson out there. So bullpen games, not a huge fan of them, given the Marlins situation. I do want to mention, Kyle Stowers is about to start a rehab assignment. So hopefully we see Kyle Stowers get some more at-bats for the Marlins before the season wraps up and just gets to play, just gets to go out there and play some baseball. I know the season's entering the final stages. A lot of people are starting to get more into football. I'm excited for football, don't get me wrong. But the baseball aspect, there's still a lot of importance to these last few weeks, even when you're out of contention. Don't get that twisted. Junk, Weathers, they need reps. You're going to have guys like Kyle Stowers. Hopefully he gets his rehab in, it goes smooth, comes back, and gets some more at-bats and feels comfortable to end his season on a high note. Jose in the chat, I'd like to see Beozo and Phillips starting a few games during next year's spring training. So with Phillips, I think that's interesting because he has starters experience as well as Valente Beozo. And do you see them being used as relievers out of the pen who can go multiple innings? Tyler Phillips could pitch the 7th, 8th, and 9th if he had to. Beozo, middle reliever. When the game's getting away from you, when you need to eat some innings, he can come in and give you 4 or 5 solid innings. That's what you want from Valente. Phillips, I'm biased because I think he's just so energetic, and the energy he just brings, it screams bullpen to me. I think Phillips is better suited for the bullpen because of his mentality. And yeah, you need that mentality as a starter, but there's a different level of crazy and psycho behavior from Tyler Phillips. I really like him as a pitcher. I think he's going to be one of the best relievers that the Marlins have in 2026. Hopefully you're going to see him get high leverage innings at a more frequent rate than this season, in which it felt like the usage of the bullpen was never clear. Clayton never really laid out a ground, like a blueprint for how his bullpen is going to go. I thought it was going to be Ronnie Enriquez, and then Ronnie Enriquez is pitching in the 6th here one night, the 8th one night. They do the pockets, and then they didn't pitch Ronnie Enriquez at all. So who knows what's going on with that. I did see something the other day with Fish on First. Clayton McCullough did an interview with the Fish on First guys, did a podcast episode, And he said that the decisions are his decisions. So there's nobody's radioing down in the front office. You have to use Josh Simpson here in this situation. And for Clayton's case, I'm not sure if that's a real good thing to say, because yeah, you're honest and credit to you, but some of those decisions, Clayton, inexcusable. Inexcusable. This Marlins team is feisty. They're fun. They're hungry. Hungry dogs run faster. The Marlins ran out of gas. It's fine. You had a bad month of August. We've seen bad months of August happen all the time. Happens to the Marlins. You got to finish on a strong note in September, though. Let's go out and win this series against the Phillies. Still play for pride. Play for the name across your chest, the name on your back, and see what happens. Wins and losses aside, get better incrementally every single day. Like I said, going back to Eury, how can Eury incorporate his secondary pitches to be legitimate weapons that he feels comfortable with? That's what he should be working on the remainder of the season. Jose says, we've lost over 17 one-run games. I agree. Terrible bullpen usage. He never established rules, even though it looked clear who were 7th, 8th, and 9th. Yeah, I agree. 100%, Jose. Burning in the chat. Did you see the Braves scatter back to the dugout because they saw Phillips after the benches cleared? I need to see that, because I'll tell you what, you don't want to mess around with Tyler Phillips. You just don't. When he gets in that zone on the field, Phillips is going to be the last guy you want to face. I dare anybody to charge the mound against Tyler Phillips. See what happens. It ain't going to go good for you. RWB, I predict your new flag will be from the Ichiro era. I did. I ordered a new flag. So it's going to go on this wall right back there. So, spice it up, make it more Marlins. I like this setup. I like how we got the Locked On Marlins podcast on the screen behind me, but the flag, I'm going to surprise you. I'm going to surprise you guys. I can't tell you what era it's from yet. Phillips was the first man out from the pen. Yeah, that doesn't surprise me at all, Burning. He's a dog. Tyler Phillips is a dog. Marlins, Phillies. Christopher Sanchez is pitching for the Phillies, I believe. Now, maybe the days blended together. I am very tired. Ranger Suarez. Let's see here. Phillies probable pitchers as we wrap up this show. Because if the Marlins face Sanchez tonight, then and they are, I was right. Sanchez and Beozo tomorrow, Luzardo, Alcantara, and then Taijuan Walker to be determined for the Marlins. I would imagine on Sunday that, let's see, Beozo, Alcantara, wouldn't be Major, would it? I don't know, because Cabrera's injured now. I like that Jesus Luzardo versus Sandy Alcantara matchup. That's a fun matchup. I'll always root for Jesus. And Alcantara, Sandy, El Caballo, he's trying to close out this season in a high note and take the momentum into 2026. Overall, you're going to look at these numbers from Sandy and it's underwhelming, but the tangible improvements we've seen from 4 or 5 starts ago to what he is now, I'm excited for this Phillies Marlins game, especially on Saturday. I think you're going to see some fireworks from Alcantara against a division opponent. That's the thing. You got to think about this. Sandy's been a Marlin his whole life, pretty much. Yeah, he was on the Cardinals, but he's a Marlin. He doesn't like the Phillies. He doesn't like the Mets, and he doesn't like the Braves. More than all the fans. Like, I think he's going to pitch better against division opponents because it fires you up more. Burning. Love the Carson interview. You're really talented. Thank you, Burning. I try every day. Got to get better every day. I thought that was a good opportunity to bring you guys a unique perspective. Just kind of an inside look at the scenes from a minor league pitcher. And Carson's having a very, very good season. Just got promoted to AA, by the way, AA Pensacola. And he told me on the show that he will be pitching in the Arizona Fall League. So a good opportunity for Marlins fans like myself who live in Arizona to go out and see a top prospect, because I think Carson can be a top prospect. He's electric. He's got an electric arm. Former Vanderbilt baseball commit, by the way. We're going to wrap it up here, guys. I appreciate everybody who tuned in on today's live show. For your second activity regarding sports, you should go check out the Locked On College Football Kickoff. It's the ultimate college football weekly preview. Drake Toll of Locked On Big 12 leads the conversation alongside two-time AP Coach of the Year Gary Patterson, former college star Jesse Hawley, and Locked On's local experts. A college football preview only Locked On can do. Catch College Football Kickoff every Thursday throughout the season, only on Fire TV. Until next time, guys, you know the routine. Stay safe, stay locked on, and let's go fish.